Welcome everyone to BizHack Live, our free weekly webinar series that we give to the community. My name is Dan Gretsch. I'm the CEO and founder of BizHack, and today we have an extraordinary session. We partnered with my good friend Hutch Hutchinson, founder of ICABA, to do a panel discussion on holiday marketing. We're going to start by hearing a great lesson on best practices for your holiday marketing for small businesses from Ricardo Barris. And then we're going to hear from our amazing panel of three marketers and business owners. I'm going to hand it over to Hutch in a second to do the introductions for the panel. Before we do that, though, I did want to just share with you, first of all, thank our season 2 partners, South Florida Integrated Marketing Association and Miami Marketers. Thank you guys so much for promoting the work we do and bringing your audience to our events. I wanted to also let you know that next week we're going to be talking about Can Anybody Hear Me? Getting Heard in an Overcrowded World with Yvette Grove. This will be a great one. The week after that, we're going to talk about exponential marketing with EXO, the Exponential Organization Training Academy, Gabrielle Angel and Karina Besprosven of Open EXO. I'm going to then do one on free tools to find your ideal customer online as part of Emerge Americas. And then if you're interested in signing up for all of our BizHack Lives for season 2, encourage you to get a season pass. So with that, I wanted to introduce my amazing friend, my partner, my brother of another mother, Hutch Hutchinson, to talk about ICABA, our partners today, as well as our amazing panelists, Grant, Todd, Kerline, and our speaker, Ricardo.
Well, thank you, Dan, and just really excited to be here and be here with everyone. And I think it's a great day. We're in the midst of getting ready for a holiday season that's going to be bigger than any holiday season, shopping season that we've ever had online. And so today's topic, which is going to be a nice, if you will, kind of distraction from the other things that are going on in the world today. So we're going to kind of put that outside the room and focus on how we're going to be able to really finish strong in 2020 and get your unfair share of the holiday marketing shopping that's going to be taking place. As Dan said, we have a phenomenal panel of folks here. We thought it would be really good to not just bring, people who are nothing but marketers, but people who really have subject matter expertise and credentials and competencies in a diverse area. So as an example, our most beautiful lady in the group, and we're going to start with her, Ms. Kerline Jules. And I've known Kerline now for a little bit over about 10 years, I think it is. And Kerline is just a phenomenal professional. Her background is in data analytics. And she's now become a really accomplished digital marketer. Matter of fact, I saw on LinkedIn yesterday, she just got her diploma from Miami-Dade College, certificate in digital marketing. So her room is going to run out of places to put all the certifications she's getting from the different places she's been going about digital marketing and getting additional information that she's taking advantage of this downtime here. And so she's had great experience. She's done a lot of community leadership. And I think one of the things I wanted to mention is that don't forget to continue to use the things that you would do offline, so to speak, in your online marketing. As an example, community giving. So as we go through this, I want to also throw in a couple of things. And now I want to also introduce Todd Billings. Todd is an investor extraordinaire. First met Todd, he was setting up some funds to help out companies and individuals who were going through some issues with the back in 2008 and 9, 10 when we were having the real estate collapse, and he's continued to put together multi-million-dollar funds in the real estate industry. Now he's having a sweet tooth experience with his wife. They have a company called Sweet Rustic Bake Shop, and the Sweet Rustic Bake Shop is a passion, I'm sure. His wife is a phenomenal if you will, baker. And he's used all of his business acumen, from the standpoint of technology, finance, and also marketing and operations, to help that grow that he'll share with you today. So, we got Todd Billings, from the Sweet Rustic Bake Shop. We've got Kerline Jules Management Group. And then there's this guy who helps you to do the one thing that we know that's so important. And that is nothing happens until something gets sold. And that's Grant McGaugh with 5-Star BDM. And so he is a sales guru, and he will help you make sure that if you want to get that cash register ringing, that whatever you do has to be, if you will, with that being the end goal in mind. So as a matter of fact, sense of urgency will be something that'll be important to have in your messaging. And you also want to probably take a look at doing some rewards, for upselling. So instead of a person, if the average sales are $25, then maybe, let's make it 40 or 50 bucks by giving someone a reward by doing the upsell. So there are a lot of different things that you'll be able to add in that you hear from people like that. And then the guy who is the guru of all things digital marketing, my coach, my advisor, Mr. Ricardo Barris with the MI Group. And he's going to talk to us about all the things that are going on in terms of the new Google store and how you can leverage that. And oh boy, I'm sorry. Then we also have, if you will, the Lilia from BizHack Academy. And Lilia is going to share all of the great knowledge that comes out of BizHack with the experiences and the webinars from all the great people. She's distilled some of that down to give you some real nuggets. And this is the panel that we have. And as Dan mentioned, I'm Jerome Hutchinson, the founder and chief servant officer of ICABA, which is the International Career and Business Alliance. And the International Career and Business Alliance, as I said, otherwise known as ICABA, is a trusted global community of professionals and entrepreneurs of color who are coming together to build relationships, share information and opportunities to enhance our career, business, and our lifestyle. And so these people that we just introduced are all BizHack Academy graduates, as well as members of ICABA. So we have partnered up to bring you this powerhouse today. And at this point, I will turn it over.
This is a really kind of special moment, and I really think like a culmination, Hutch, of our partnership. It was through conversations with folks like you back in March during the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement that really inspired me as an entrepreneur and as a business owner to do something about the systematic inequity that was being exposed by the Black Lives Matter movement and by the work of folks like you. And it's not just enough to express solidarity, you have to do something about it. And that's when we launched our scholarship campaign. I'm so honored and blessed by the people you brought into my life from your network who took advantage of that scholarship program. We've now had more than 50 minority and women-owned businesses, given out more than $70,000 in scholarships. And I just wanted to say that your group, Grant and Todd and Kerline, are part of a pioneering group, and so much good has happened to that. Our cohorts have been half Black, 77% women, and 87% minority ever since we built this partnership with you. And it's to be a minority serving institution, to be doing our small part in addressing some of the inequity. It's just really a beautiful thing to bring us all together for this reunion.
And Dan, before we get started, I'd like to take a little quick personal privilege and do a shout out to Mr. Ben Carter. I just saw him on here. Ben used to be my national sales manager when I was running sales for Magic 102 in Houston, Texas. He's now in Atlanta running a liquor marketing company. So Ben, I saw your representative, if you will, as I like to call it, when I see your picture here. Just wanted to say hello. Haven't seen him in a while. I'm glad that he showed up out of Atlanta for us.
I love it. Well, since you're taking a personal privilege, I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to Ittihad Danish. Ittihad is our first Pakistani student. He is enrolled in our current cohort. And Ittihad, it's such an honor to have you a part of the BizHack program. We've gone international. We now have had students from Ghana, London, 7 countries in Latin America, New Zealand, and for the first time, Pakistan. So welcome, you're very welcome and part of this community we've built. All right, so Kerline Jules, I'm gonna start with you. What would be your top tip to a small business on how to market themselves during the holidays?
Opportunity. So first off, I guess what I'm going to say, it's going to sound simple and not necessarily sexy, but I do believe it's probably one of the most powerful things that you can do. And that is social listening. The reality is we are living in some untraditional times, and there's a lot going on in the world. And the last thing that you want to do with your marketing is be tone deaf. So social listening is pretty much, as business owners, as marketers, you learn to focus on your target market. You learn to identify what's your target market. In digital marketing, you learn to create a customer persona, which is pretty much your ideal person within your target market. And so with your customer persona, what I would suggest that you do is that you go find out the digital platforms that your customers are hanging out on, whether it's Facebook group. I know that's a very popular place to social listen. Some people use Amazon reviews. Some people use Instagram. I think Instagram is a great resource for social listening and using hashtags, and see how your customers are feeling and what is it that they're talking about. Because what you want to be able to do is take those pain points that they're discussing within these groups and include that in your messaging and your marketing. I think one of the powerful things to do as a marketer is be able to show that you understand your customer and you understand what they're dealing with right now. Because again, what you don't want to do is put something out in your marketing that's completely irresponsive to what they're saying that they're going through. I think the powerful thing that you can do is build a story. Story branding is going to help you separate yourselves from your competitors, because the reality is everybody is online. This is going to sound crazy, but everybody is not connected. So you want to build how you separate yourself from your competitors is building a connection with your customers. And one of the most powerful ways is to do that through storytelling and leveraging social listening. So
Perfect, Carlene. So the points that she's making is the empower that social media has for you to do audience discovery and to really understand where your customers are. In many ways, this is a complement to the traditional approaches of customer interviews and focus groups. We have an amazingly powerful way to get in touch with our customers. And then once you figure out what your customers want and are talking about, developing story content that responds to that. Grant McGaugh, can you tell me about a holiday marketing campaign that caught your eye this season or a past season?
That's an interesting question, because what you're asking me is that, because marketing is broad, and you've got a lot of content that's out there. You're constantly being fed information, whether it's, on your phone, desktop. It's a constant flow. So what caught my eye here recently from a campaign standpoint is really about what I'm interested in. I was interested in digital transformation that's taking place in the healthcare industry. And someone put out very specific information around that transformation, what the landscape would look like, and what they could do to make change happen within our healthcare ecosystem. So I saw that come across. I'm a LinkedIn person. So I get a lot of my information from LinkedIn. I like it because they're sharing really a lot of information and knowledge, and I can fine tune my feed to where I'm getting information that is coming directly to me in my interest level and what's going to promote me forward. So what I saw in that, you call it a holiday campaign, is just what was happening in my industry and how I could take advantage of it right now, not only for myself, but to promote within my own audience some intelligence and knowledge that's going to move them forward as well. So that's what resonates with me. What information can I get that I can then share with my own audience? That came to me through, like I said, a LinkedIn feed. And sometimes you'll see it as an ad, but I like individuals rather than a company ad. And then typically that individual will then lead me back into a company ad. Then I could take a call to action or some kind of a next step toward information.
And Grant, the point you're making about an individual versus a company, we are seeing right now on social media that authenticity and vulnerability are what's most effective. And in this way, small businesses, I think, actually have an advantage. And the reason that small businesses have an advantage is because they're not faceless corporations. They're not PepsiCo. They're not General Mills. They're Dan Gretsch, who runs BizHack, right? And it's more human scale. And this is an unfair advantage that you have and you should leverage with your storytelling. Similar question to you, Todd Billings. Todd, what is a holiday campaign that you've liked or that you're running for your bake shop?
Yeah, great. So a couple of things. I mean, at the bakery, one of the things I've learned through actually going through the BizHack Accelerator Academy was just the creating an offer that is irresistible. And that's one of the hardest things to do as a business owner, is to realize, hey, what am I really trying to gain? Am I trying to gain profitability off of a specific sale, or am I trying to gain potentially a customer for a long period of time? And so, what we've done is, really promoted an incredible offer where people will get, say, 50% off or a free item for a first-time customer, with the intent of, I want to gather your email address. And I found it's amazing how, as soon as I send out an email blast, that I get immediate sales. And that's been was eye-awakening, because we live in a world where I probably get 500-600 emails a day, and I'm looking to delete emails to the point where it's like, this is wasting my time. I'm deleting so many emails versus reading the ones that I'm supposed to read. And so the things that have really worked for us have been, creating urgency. And so things that we are doing currently for this season are, running product specific items for the season. For instance, pumpkin is a popular seasonal flavor. So we have pumpkin scones and pumpkin pie bars, and we're going to have a whole lineup of pies. We're going to be featured in Fort Lauderdale Illustrated Magazine at the same time that we're going to be promoting the pies that we're offering. We just added cakes to the menu, which allows people, as during this special time where I think we're all craving some kind of connection with people, we're trying to think about, hey, who is our target client, like Kerline said, and cater to them. And so our target client is a 25 to 54-year-old woman who tends to be on Instagram, likes foods, or interests are food and Christianity have been a real niche market for us. And to the extent that we can cater to them. So I think of one within that demographic, if you narrow it even further, a mom. So offering curbside assistance, or when people are going through the process of ordering a cake, allowing them to actually speak to us versus just, hey, here's an online process where they can place an order, but creating this environment where there's a community. And it goes back to our why. Our why is we want to share love through food. And if you take that approach, or which we've taken, it's really stood out for us. And if I have a second more, Dan, I'll share an ad that really stood out to me.
Before you do that, I'll let you show me your ad, but I want you to take a second.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. And I want you to describe for me one of your holiday sweets in the most loving way possible. Go ahead, sell us on it, baby.
Awesome. So probably one of the best things that we love for the season are pies, and they're time sensitive. Number one, we're only going to have them for this limited period of time over the next month. And whether you like pumpkin pie or apple pie or a chocolate cream pie, or you name your favorite pie, we probably have one that's just going to make your mouth water. What I love about pies is it's something that you share, and most people, except maybe me, don't eat a whole pie. And so one of the beautiful parts about pies is it's a symbol of being together with other people and sharing an experience. And that's what pies mean. They taste great. And I think that's something we all hope for, but it's another thing to say, hey, I want to have something special that's not, say, Publix, and we love Publix, but not Publix, but something that's, hey, homemade, is made with love, made by a mom, that is, really giving the best ingredients with the best taste, with the experience of sharing it with other people.
So I want to just pause for a second, and guys, throw into your chat if you liked what Todd just said, and if that moved you and inspired you and made your mouth water like it made for me. But what I want to point out is how Todd connected his why, which is showing love through food, with his specific description of a holiday offering, in this case a pie, and how he connected family, togetherness, and community with a treat. And that was really where you got me, right at that moment when you made that turn from, you know, mouth-watering delicious pies, but I could get that at Publix, to a homemade pie that's specifically, you know, purpose built for community. And that community is really what you're selling. You're selling a context to break bread together, to share together. Loved it. And by the way, as soon as you finish showing us your ad, let us know how we can order these pies. I think you might get a few orders from that amazing story. So you can go ahead and share your screen. We'd love to see your ad.
Great. All right, let's share. And I'll expand this. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep, we can. We see
All right. So this is a polar bear, and I don't drink Coca-Cola. It's a Coca-Cola commercial. But what I really want to share is how they're sharing community and togetherness, and it goes right into what I was talking about.
Nice.
And it's open happiness is the tagline at the end. So, you know, once again, I think it goes back to what emotion are we trying to evoke from our customer, and can we connect with them at an emotional level? And that, for me, I don't drink Coke, but it made me literally, I said to my son, who's 9 years old, I said, I feel like I want to get a Coke right now, which was really interesting after watching a commercial.
You know, I love like the Budweiser commercials on the Super Bowl, because they evoke such emotions. Coca-Cola is really good at it. And the kind of emotions around the holidays that Coca-Cola evokes are really different than like Pepsi. They're both selling flavored sugar water, but their brand and their story are just really different and distinct. My favorite, I'm a student of the insurance companies, you know, the folks who sell the most boring product available, you know, and you have Flow for Allstate and the Geico for the Geico Gecko, and it's really good to study insurance companies, because they have the least interesting product, least differentiated product imaginable, and so the only way they can actually differentiate themselves is through the feeling they evoke, and they all are trying to get at something a little different. With that, I want to hand it over to BizHack certified lead instructor and agency owner of Me Group, Ricardo Barris. He's going to give us a little micro lesson on holiday marketing. Welcome, Ricardo.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Let me just bring my my slide up. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
You can all see my screen?
Yep.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, Hutch. You know, Hutch is one of my mentors. And even though we had met earlier, just sort of close to COVID or pre-COVID, if you may, he's been truly valuable and helpful to myself and my team. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the iCaba World community. And just a plug for the iCaba World, if you are not yet a member, you really need to go to icabaworld.com and find out how you can become a member. I'd really also like to thank Dan. You know, what an incredible guy. You know, Dan loves giving back to the community, and he loves contributing to the Miami community, and of course, by extension, to the rest of the nation and the world. And so I really appreciate what you do every Wednesday to pull this kind of energy into live conversation. And so really grateful for you, Dan, and I thank you for that as well. Grant, Carleen, Todd, really appreciate you taking the time to be a part of this. And of course, or Rockstar Lilia for always holding the fort and helping us to admin all of these things. So I really appreciate to you guys and everyone who made the effort to be a part of this today. Welcome, thank you, and we're so grateful. I want to talk to you a little about some holiday marketing, of course, today. My name is Ricardo Beris. I founded MI Group about 11 years ago. And so what I wanted to do is to show you some of the things that we will be covering over today. I want to talk to you a little about the holiday shopping timeline. Yes, there is a timeline, and the majority of retailers use those timelines to plan and to execute a lot of their digital marketing strategy. And as a small business, you need to have a timeline that you can essentially do this as well. I'll be looking also at some tools that was recently perhaps released by Google for the small business holiday hub, which is to grow my store, as well as a local opportunity finder for those who have a physical store. And I also want you to stick around for the holiday prep checklist, because this is a checklist that you're going to want to have for your business, because this is going to be an amazing holiday shopping season, but we've got a ton more to come. I mean, next year is going to be there as well, and the other year. And if you don't hit home run, which I hope you all do this year, if you do not hit a home run, you got to keep swinging, because then you'll have a shot at 2021, just in case. So a little bit about me. I know we talked a little bit about that earlier. I founded MI Group about 11 years ago. We help non-technical businesses who cannot grow as quickly as possible using digital marketing technology tools. And so these companies are savvy. I'm sorry, not savvy, but they're aware, if you may, but not as savvy enough to grow using these tools. So we take the heavy lifting away from them and implement tools, ensuring that they have the necessary tools to grow as quickly as possible. And so that's essentially what we do every single day for MI Group. We've got a team out in Colombia, in India. We've got some guys, some of our guys in Morocco, as well as in the Bahamas and here. So we've done quite some extensive work with respect to software development and digital marketing, which is our focus for our business. I also started Purposely, which is a startup really helping customers to find products that supports the cause that they care about. And I also did start the Berries Group, which is another company. So I have been in the entrepreneurial space for about 20 years now. I've got about 12 years in the digital marketing space. I've done work across Microsoft, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, you name the channels, and we would have done work there for different clients with different needs. We do about 1 million plus emails every year with attribution rates of 2,600% for different brands, whether it's McDonald's, Burger King, or whether it's supermarkets and retail chains. I studied entrepreneurship and business development, and I'm also certified with Google and Facebook. And of course, I do work with the family of BizHack as a marketing coach. If you would like to get to me, you can send me an email at ricardo@migroupco.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to add value to whatever it is that you're doing. I always love to find ways to add value to our community. So whatever I can do to help. So let's jump right into it. A successful holiday season. Well, actually in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, can we imagine that? One of the things that we've seen is that the shift for in-store shopping has changed as early as March of this year. We've seen introduction of new retailers that came on stream. I mean, you know, I saw a tweet from someone the other day, they sold so many thousands of masks. Like, wow, who knew that masks was going to be a business that you sort of have to do on a daily basis? Disinfectants and all of these other things that came up on the scene as a result of the pandemic. New shopping methods also came around. Curbside pickup, delivery, 6 feet social distance, and that you've got to, you've got to stay in a specific order, or you go into the retail store, there's a specific flow that you have to follow, or so those are some of the things that we've seen shown up during this pandemic. And so the impact that it has had on small businesses as well as shoppers, it is something that we are going to see hanging around for some times, because then this becomes now habits that we will need to address, and we will need to adapt to these different behavior for quite some time. So what I wanted to show you was just a little quick preview that I pulled out from Bazaar Voice. And if anyone is here from Bazaar Voice, shout out to you guys. I love Bazaar Voice because they help me a lot to sort of predict what is to come with these different shopping season. So here's a look at holiday shopping activities by the numbers. And what you can see coming up shortly, we got a few activities in the holiday, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that is now compact in a single week called Cyber Week. And so what we've realized is that this period is where the uptick of the shopping really takes place. And so even before the turkey gets on the table, if you may, people are scrolling through their phones and they're looking for deals, they're looking for opportunities, and you certainly will be seeing that uptick. Now, and the question that we all have to ask is, how prepared are we to deal with this sort of uptick that we expect? Now, this is data from 2019. So what we do expect is that this will happen, or even better is going to be happening. And so you certainly want to be in motion to prepare for that. And this is what my presentation today is going to do to help you to get ready for this. Now, it's November, so you are probably a little late, but we're still glad you're here, because sometimes you have to do the 11th hour belt in order to make the 12 o'clock, right? And so it's better to be late than never. Now, we just came out of October, and it was really just sort of the research month. And some of us may still be dealing with some of the October activities. And for October, as a small business, the customers usually use October to research a lot of what they're looking for, or the plans that they have coming up for the holidays. Most of those activities takes place on mobile. There's about 6 and 9% of these shoppers that basically they look online first. And then even if they have to go in the store physically, then they do that later. And we all know what's happening with in-store shopping. And so they're looking online, and they're doing a lot of saving and bookmarking. They're doing a lot of wish listing, if you may, in preparation for the things that they would like to have as gift and for the holiday season. Now, one of the things that we've seen, which is interesting, is that they're also asking a lot of questions on product pages. So if you have an e-commerce website, if you have a product site, we see customers are asking a lot of questions in their research period. And so how could you, and I know this is November, and I know October just passed, but if you are still preparing for the shopping season, this is a good place to start in kind of understanding what exactly are folks looking for this season. So my tip to you is, if you have a website, if you have an e-commerce website, or you're selling physical product, or even if you're selling services that are appropriate for the holiday, you want to address questions and queries, and you want to do those things quickly. If you need to have the ability to respond and provide information that the shoppers actually need. One quick trick, if you run an e-commerce site, you can put some FAQs on each of your products, because as customers are researching and they're browsing these products, they have questions. And if you can answer those questions, that would be very, very helpful for the customers who are searching, because then you hit the nails on the head and you approach the objection before they arise. And this is one way to begin to get and gain customers. You have to keep your audience in mind as well. The idea of having an e-commerce website or just another site, and we are using sites because this is the most popular place people will shop. But the idea of doing this allows for you to keep the customer in mind. If you were looking for this specific product, what were some of the things, or what would some of the things be that you'd be thinking about? And you want to answer those questions. And you also want to look for trends in your queries. People are going to your site, or they're going out there on search engine and they're looking for things. Usually after a certain number of queries or questions, you could see patterns. And so the ability to spot patterns and find ways to address them is one way that you can easily help some of these customers. So there's November. So we're out of the research period, and some companies are still doing research in November, but November and December is what we call like the influx month. This is the month, if you haven't gotten it together, you have to do that right now. Like, so I will say to you, you are late if you have not yet gotten your November, December strategy together. You are late. And so what you need to be doing right now, the moment you get off this round table, you need to begin to work on how are we, or my company, how am I going to be approaching the uptick that is about to come in a few days from now. And we know Veterans Day is coming up in a few days. And as a matter of fact, over 50% of retailers is already starting the holiday promotion on Veterans Day going forward. So you want to be able to get ready for those things. And here are some of the stats that can actually help you to move quickly. 44% of these shoppers are buying gifts during the first half of November. Okay, some folks just gotten paid at month end, and they're using that funds to get some gifts in to spend the first half of November to buy items for the Thanksgiving holiday, right? There are others who are buying during the second half, okay? And so there's 64% of those folks who are buying during the second half. There's another 86% of individuals who are purchasing throughout the entire holiday sales period. So you're going to want to think about that. How can we address those demand that we know is going to be coming up in another couple of days? And businesses, they expect a higher demand for products and services. So we already know that your product, your service, their chances are there will be a higher demand for it, but you need to put yourself in position to be successful. You need to position your products and your service so that whenever the customers get on your website, they get on your social media space, they reach out to you by phone, or if you are open, they get into your physical store, you have to be ready to embrace that, because the statistics are telling us that there's about a 61% chance that there's going to be higher demand for your products and services. And we also expect pre-Cyber Week spike. So pre-Cyber Week is that week leading up to Cyber Week. And what they've done with Cyber Week is compact the Black Friday, the Cyber Monday in the same space, in the same promotional period. And now it's called Cyber Week. So you're not really offering a separate deals or promotions, but you have a Cyber Week opportunity that you can present to your customers. So what are some of my tips for you? Well, take a look at this before I tell you what I think you should be thinking about for November, December. Take a look at how many orders on count by category during these two significant days that are coming up. Toys and games, a whopping 860% in terms of the order count. This is an increase over year in comparison to the previous year, which was 2018. But if you could see here, you will get a glimpse of exactly what we're talking about in being prepared and getting yourself ready to embrace this season. People are going to be ordering items, and whichever one of these categories you fall on, you really need to begin to get ready. So my tip to you, you've got to get active in prominently displaying any deals, any offers you have. You got to get that shown everywhere there is a touch point for your business. And a touch point is anywhere someone clicks to get to you. It's your website, your social media, it is your WhatsApp. You need to position yourself to display all of these different offers and deals that you have during this period. So one, work on some pre-Cyber Week deals. You can offer products now, and you can give discounts for later. That way you do not lose that customer. Now, I think Todd talked about capturing customer contact. I think the most valuable thing for any of us on this call is our ability to stay connected with our customer. And I always tell my clients, give every customer you come in contact with an opportunity to stay connected. And if that is your mission, a year from now, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of customers, even if they're just window or eye shopping. You want to give them an opportunity to stay connected. So these pre-Cyber Week deals are important because then they keep the customer. You can buy this item today for 20% off in the future. And that's an important strategy that you can consider. There are Cyber Week deals where you consider Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all in one as a package offer. That's an opportunity for you to also work that period. And then there's beyond the Cyber Week. You have to think about what happens after that, because keep in mind, there are a number of folks who would not have gotten anything at the end of the Cyber Week period or the end of Thanksgiving, and there's Christmas that's coming up, and you have to then get right in the motion of having a beyond a Cyber Week deal. So whatever you're offering, you want to put your contingents to it that stretches you over into the other week that comes beyond Cyber Week, getting close to Christmas. Free shippings and return. You have to get into that modality of wanting to give your customer the opportunity to have free shipping and return. It's almost a culture now. Everybody's expecting, first of all, an item to be delivered within 2 days. Second of all, they're expecting it to be free. Third of all, they want to return it without any hassle at all. And so those are three things that you have to consider if you are into tangible goods, offering free shipping and ensuring that there's little friction. So it's a frictionless season that you want to experience. Gift cards are amazing as well. If you are into intangible products, you can consider giving gift cards that folks can actually redeem at a later date or immediately. Start promotions early and extend them for later. So this week you can start your promotion, but then you extend these promotions for later. A typical example, there was a deal that expired on the 31st of October, which is interesting. And so I had some guys who wanted to take that offer up, and it was funny because then I said to them, well, if you let that offer slide, I promise you they'll extend that deal. And so said, they actually did extend the deal. But of course, a lot of customers don't know that. And so they have this FOMO feeling, this fear of missing out. So they do want to take this deal as early as possible. You need to make them feel that way. And so even if you extend it, that's for another group of folks who would have probably missed out. And consider using user-generated content. There's nothing more beautiful than one of your existing customer who would have tried your product. I heard Todd talking earlier about the pies. I mean, last year I bought about 15 different flavors of pies, Todd. So maybe I need to shop those pies with you this year. But having your users express gratitude and sharing the love for your products online, there is almost no better way to draw attention to your products if you can actually pull that off. So that's something that we certainly encourage you to do. You find your best customer and ask them to begin to share this online. So that would be my tip for you guys for December, something for you to think about. Now, January is the new year resolution. It's kind of a new beginning for a lot of folks, but the shopping does not end. And so there are a group of people who they are now thinking it's time for me to treat myself because of that. Then I've treated everybody else. I've given kids and family, loved ones, gifts. Now I need to go and find something for myself. And so what are we doing to cater to those kinds of individuals? That is an opportunity for our businesses to strategically target those folks as well. Gifted money. A lot of the gifts that will be gifted this season are going to be virtual gift cards that you can redeem. And so you want to get a piece of that action, because what happens in January is a lot of these are redeemed in that period. And even though there are about 65% of the shoppers who actually make in-person returns, you do have the opportunity, if you have a physical store, you do have the opportunity to then offer these folks who are coming back into your store with returns, offer them opportunities to whether upsell or cross-sell based on the items that they're actually returning. If I got $80 as a gift from my friend or whatever, and I decide to get into the store, even if I'm returning an item that's valid $80, but I see something that's for $100, it's only costing me $20. So there's a chance that I will actually take that because it's a lot more, it's more valuable to me than the item that I got as a gift because I then returned it. So little strategies like this that you can actually think about when you're preparing to receive that those customers in January. And so my tip for you for January is that understand the returns and the redemptions, and so that would mean you would have prepared for that, but ensure that you have the right people in place to handle returns, to ensure that it's frictionless for your customers, because your customers will remember you. And if you treat them, bad, then they will not forget that. And it's the easiest thing to share a horrible review online. It's a little harder to share a happy one. And so we want to work twice as hard to get folks to give us the 5 stars and the reviews, but be prepared to handle these returns and these exchange that you have to do. Some of us might not be doing any returns based on our physical store, but you can do exchange, and you can handle those through store credits or other redemption methodologies. So take advantage of those store credit opportunity if someone is not happy with a product that they would have purchased. And so right here, and I'm going to hand it over to Dan right here, but right here is where the post-holiday happens. This is a reflection time. Once you would have gotten out of this holiday season, you need to take a breath and you need to consider some important questions as you gear up again for the next season ahead, right? Were these strategies successful? You've got to ask yourself that. Were the strategies that we employed successful? What worked? What didn't work? What would we do differently, and what will we repeat, right? You also want to ensure that you understand the performance of your products. How did the product perform? Which products performed well? Which one didn't perform? And it's almost kind of like in this period, which is just after January, close to January month end, as you know, February is now Valentine's, so the mode changes in terms of shopping, but it's usually where you ask, the secret of surviving is knowing what to keep and what to throw away for my products, for my services. And because this is where you then begin to refine and fine tune and prepare yourself for the upcoming season. And how can you improve the performance overall? So these are questions that you need to ask in your post-holiday reflection moment as you sit with your team and understand exactly what you should be doing in preparation for the next. So I want to stop here for a minute because I know Dan might have a few questions to throw in, and I want to allow him to do that. And I'll jump back to show you this tool that Google has put together for small businesses to really help you to understand what you need to be working on to improve some of these touch points that your customers are going to be using to shop. Dan?
Perfect. So we're going to do a lightning round. Grant, I'm going to start with you. And you can stop sharing your, okay, perfect. Grant, what would be a top tip that you would give to a small business on how to market themselves during the holiday? Your one top tip.
If I had to give one top tip is this: you need to understand your audience better than you understand your own product or service. Very, very important to know who can use your product or service and why they would need your product or service.
I
And
love
if
it.
you've, yeah, if you've built up an audience, you've had to done that before. To what Ricardo had stated, you've got to be building that audience, your particular brand audience, over time. So when you do a launch, you're ready to go and you understand exactly what that audience needs, and you're going to resonate quickly. And the only thing I'm going to say after that: take a sale. Take a sale. Don't worry about all the little other stuff that you can't control. Your job is to make a sale as quickly as possible. Everything else that you're going to need to do and adapt will come after that.
I
That's
love
it.
it. Yeah, small businesses are basically value providing machines. Your only job is to serve your customer, and a sale is the greatest validation possible. Same question to you, Todd. What's your top tip to a small business on how to market during the holidays?
Yeah, I think number one is create an irresistible offer to get someone in the door. Very similar to what Grant's saying. The goal is to build a relationship. And if you look at this as more than just a one-time product sale, and this is an opportunity for me to really deliver upon my business proposition, in our case, delivering love through food to you as a customer, then you will win that relationship, because it just like dating a person of the opposite sex, it starts with having something in common, building a relationship, and going from there. And then on that note, Dan, I created, while we were on there, I just sent everyone a link to a special page that I created. If you click on that link, you'll see a 50% off everything. So I think the other tip is be nimble. So there's certain things where I had a WordPress site before that was managed really by someone else, or it was really more difficult. Here I built something that I was able to do while on the call with you guys. And so having the ability to adapt quickly to market changes is really important in this environment in particular, because if you have to always count on someone else to do it for you, you're going to be way behind your competition.
You're a badass. I love you. Look at this guy. So he created a landing page. We were like, send us a link to your website. So he created a landing page in real time. We're going to all get 50% off. We're going to do him a favor and we're going to opt in. Let's see what happens next.
You'll get a code, click get 50% off.
Let me just try clicking again. There it goes. I'm going to get 50% off.
And there's your code right there.
Nice.
BizHack 50.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Right. So
look at
I
this.
think that's.
Do you mind just lifting the hood a little bit? What platform did you use to build this landing page?
Yeah, I use Weebly right now as my platform. It's connected with my point of sale system, which is Square. So I think integration to where you're doing less work, because we obviously are a small batch baking company. I can't produce a ton of product. So being able to actually deliver to our customers is really important. And so this ties right into my inventory. It's live inventory on my website. One of the things that I've done uniquely different in the food business is try going online and ordering a pizza for this Friday. You really can't. On our site, you can order up to next week, or right now up to Sunday, you can order pastries already. So
Nice.
This is amazing. You know, now I understand why you were one of the most successful participants in BizHack's history. He made so much money that you had to turn off the campaigns, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny to say. I mean, we literally ran. Our ad was so popular that I had to turn off the campaigns. We had to knock down a wall, buy some more equipment, hire another baker. I had to actually go back to operations and say, hey, how can I, handle the inventory? So, one of the things we're going to start doing is having a 24-hour shift at the bakery, because obviously the first step you think of as a business owner is I need more space, and there was actually space next to me. But to actually get a space built out is going to take probably 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Whereas I also said to my wife, I said, hey, we close at 5 o'clock. No one's there from 5:30 at night until 4 in the morning. When I get there, we have a whole nother shift that we can utilize that same space. And so just being creative with the resources at hand, and not always just seeing things through, I need more, either more money or I need more space or whatever it is. Maybe you have it right under your nose.
Love it. Great work. Great biz hacker creativity. Kerline, I'm gonna start another round of questions, and then we'll go to Grant and Todd, and then we'll do Ricardo's final presentation about the new Google tool. Just as a heads up, we're coming close to the end of time, so we're gonna move fast. We'll run a little bit long, but try to end close to 1:30 as we can. All right, so Kerline, my question for you is, how do you think marketing during this holiday season, at the time of a rising, accelerating pandemic, will be different than past years?
Like I shared earlier, I think one of the biggest differences is that everybody is now digital. Everybody's operating in a digital space. If you're not giving the industry that you're in, I'm very concerned on how you're even surviving. So there's a lot of noise in the digital space. So like I shared earlier, if you take my advice and do some social listening, listening to what are your audience's concerns, their pain points, take that, put it in a story-telling framework where you speak to your audience's pain points and how your product and services transforms their lives, help them to meet their aspired identity. And then you take that and put that into a Facebook ad, put that messaging into a Facebook ad so that you're able to reach a much broader audience. To be honest with you, I don't know why more businesses, small businesses do not leverage the power of Facebook ads, because Facebook is just such a powerful tool and all the audience insights that they have. And you can do some really targeted ads to your customers. So I would definitely encourage you to leverage the power of Facebook ads. Something that I think is going to be very big right now. Obviously, we're all on our mobiles, and it's predicted that at least 40% of online sales will come from mobile, searching on mobile. So I would encourage you to make sure that your websites are mobile friendly, and also possibly look into SMS marketing, which is a little bit more personal and more invasive. So I think that probably would do better with the customers that you already have in existence, and reaching out to them. But everybody's on their phones right now. So just making sure that your websites are mobile friendly. I believe Facebook ads, they have a display setting where you can actually create a landing page within the Facebook ad that's very mobile friendly. Is some of the things that you can look into.
Great, great. As a kind of follow-up, I'm going to direct this one to Grant. Given that everyone's going to be marketing online because of COVID, and also everyone's going to be trying to make up in the last 2 months of the year, all the losses from the past 6, what can you do as a business to stand out from the crowd and get that sale?
The main thing that I have been doing, and understanding the environment that we're in, because you got to look at it. Yes, there's COVID, but there's a lot of unemployment. And because of that, there's a lot of shifting in the marketplace. So one of the things we do at 5-Star BDM, which is Business or Brand Development Masters, is what BDM stands for, is to do a lot with personal branding, helping people to now pivot into either a different career or a different job, or maybe start a business. But it all starts with yourself. So you're going to have to step back. It's not just about creating a new resume, having a CV. You've got to look at what you look like online. What is your digital online presence today? And how can you leverage it to move into your next, whatever your next is going to look like? And that's very important to be able to utilize that tool as a leveraging tool and a differentiator. One thing that I did, and I did it intentionally, probably over the last 3 to 5 years, is to personally brand myself. So I'm not tethered to just a company or a particular industry. I am my own brand. And I show people how to do that through my methodology. I think that's probably at this point in time, a very useful a tool, a very useful strategy that you can use to execute what you're going to have to utilize to move forward very effectively. So that's what I would leave you with in that area, that you're going to have to use the digital world, because there's no time frame right now when COVID will be over. It could be in another 6 to 8 months. So your digital online presence is who you are, is how you present yourself. It is your reputation. You're going to have to secure it. You're going to have to understand it. And whether you're telling your story accurately or not, that is the perception that is out there. So you have to be more intentional about your brand presence, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to hand it back over now to Ricardo. one thing that I'm inspired to add is there's nothing more powerful than a phone call, right? And I believe all marketing is person to person. And given the fact that we're kind of late in the season already for you to launch a marketing campaign, if you're coming to this and you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I don't have a really great campaign that I can launch quickly, just pick up the phone and call your most loyal customers and thank them for their loyalty and ask them how their kids are doing. And I guarantee you it will be some of the most powerful sales you'll ever get. Back to you, Ricardo.
Yeah, thanks. Those so much truth in those things. So I want to just jump right into the tool, guys, that we were talking about earlier. I do not know why this is doing that. So this tool, Google had put together this tool called, oh, okay, here it is. Okay, so the tool is really useful for you to right now check if your website is up to par with the standards or with the industry standards. And so this particular tool helps you to identify different ways to improve your site, analyzes the customer experience relative to others in the same space, and it also then offers some recommendation for improvement. So I want to walk you through. It's located at the tool is at, you could go to your browser and go to g.co//grow my store, and this is what you'll see. Now you'll get started with putting your domain name inside the tool, and you hit get started. The next screen will ask you to share a little about your business. If you sell online only, or you sell online and in store, or you sell in store only. Once you would have made that choice, then it asks you about the industry that you're in. You will then have to pick the type of business that you're running by choosing your industry. Once you would have done that, the tool begins to work and starts reviewing your website. And so they begin to give you immediately a sneak peek of some of the things that you can start thinking about. Return policy was one of the stuff we talked about earlier. Mobile speed, mobility, responsiveness to mobile device. How well does your website respond there? Product search, the ability for customer to be able to search for items throughout your site. I mean, you may have several hundreds or maybe scores of products on your site. You should not have that many products on your site without a search bar to allow folks to at least start a search and tell them what they can search for, because then, you know, scrolling through one page to the next can actually be boring and takes time. And so you want to do that. Have a wish list of the favorites where you can now allow your customers to say, I like this, I want to wish for this, and they can always come back later and find it. Then the tool is going to give you an average score based on the chosen industry. And so the score is going to be what Google uses now to help you to work on some of these areas. You get your full report, and the report is going to be shared with you. So based on the business, you get a rating, and in this case, it's a rating of individuals who would have purchased online using their smartphone. And so this is based on the business that was selected. So Google gives you this rating that you can then use. The report is being made at the time when you submit it. It takes a couple of hours, so you might have to be patient with that. Based on your industry as well, Google also shows you the number of, in this particular site, this was a consumer electronic site. It talks to you about consumer electronic shoppers in the US in comparison to the website or the searches that happens. It talks about consumers who watch video. So video is an important part of ensuring that you have that going on to provide your promotions to your customers. It also talks a little about folks who purchase online, obviously as a cheaper alternative. And then they go into building your report. And so once that report is done, it shows you, they actually show you a number of things that you need to be working on based on what the report has generated. And then the other tool, which is the Opportunity Finder, which is located at localopportunity.withgoogle.com. And this Opportunity Finder works more for companies who have a physical location, and they actually help you to improve your business presence on places like Google Search and on Google Maps. And it also gives you suggestions for making improvements on your business profile on Google. So if you don't yet have a profile on Google My Business, for example, you want to do that right away so that you can be a part of those results that's going to be searching. Localization and locality is going to be big this holiday. Like, people are going to be interested in supporting businesses in their zip code or in their area. And so you want to ensure that you are on these spaces, that whenever someone goes online and search for, pumpkin pie near me, you want to make sure that you're the one who is coming up as one of those pumpkin pie providers who are close, that you can get a pumpkin pie delivered or whatever the case might be. So you want to ensure that you have your profile all set up on the Google My Business. And then lastly, the prep checklist. This is a 6 or so month of preparation that you would need to do to really get your marketing strategy right as you get into these major holiday season. You really want to begin to look at what you need to be working on in July. And I know July is a little way off, but let's not start thinking about things that way. We have to be prepared. And the more prepared you are, the better it is for you to enjoy the success that are available out there with these opportunities. August allows for you to do a number of things, including ensure that you have all the content that you need for your promotions, and you can do this for any shopping season. Like, we're late and we understand that, and so you now need to be working assiduously and aggressively on getting what you need to get done now so that you can get those out. Think about your content, think about your user-generated inventory, think about your influencers, any of those things that's really going to help you. Take a look at what has worked for you and leveling on that. We always like to talk about in our BizHack class, the lowest hanging fruit. That is probably going to be your best bet after today, because you don't want to be reinventing, or you don't want to be creating or starting anything new. You are late. So we can't overemphasize that. It's 11 o'clock for you. The game starts at 12. The best bet for you to do is to get to your lowest hanging fruit and see how you can maximize that to kind of end the year with a bang. But you have an opportunity to come back to base and swing for a better home run. And this is going to be helping you to do that. And so I have no problem sharing this with you. I will share it with you, but obviously if you want to take a screenshot, whatever it is that you want to do here, this is going to be super helpful for you as you prepare yourself for this season. So that's all it is for me. Thank you. I appreciate the time. Sorry we went a little over, but I thought it was very, very useful, and I hope you do find it as well.
Well, guys, thank you so much for an amazing panel discussion. Grant McGaugh, Todd Billings, Kerline Jules, and of course, the amazing Ricardo Barris. Ricardo, that was fabulous, man. Congrats and thank you for your efforts. Hutch, I'm going to give you the last word before I just do a quick preview of what's coming up in BizHack Live. But take it away. Give us some inspiring words for the holidays, and then I'll close us out. You're on mute, by the way.
I was inspired by Todd Billings, and this is not the first time Todd has inspired me either. So, so I'm gonna do two things. One, I am going to send I put into, as you requested, Dan, information about ICAVA in terms of joining. So I'm going to send everybody who's on here today a link that you'll be able to join with a 50% discount. And then for the Christmas season, we were actually gearing up to do some membership drive things, and I think I'm gonna call Todd and do something with him, and where you join iCava and you get something from Sweet Rustic Bakery. So we can give them some coupons so they can come out and get some products. So that is a segue to say to you guys is that, really just be creative. You've got all kind of partners around. Matter of fact, there's a woman named Dana Moore who just popped on here, and Dana's a wine consultant. And I'm going to talk to Dana about doing something with their wine. I also had a conversation with a guy named Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, who's written 5 books. And so we're going to start adding if you join iCava, you're going to get a free autographed book from Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And I've got Suzanne Boyd on here, and I know she probably has some partners in her event planning business that we can do some creative things with. The point being just this, guys, is that you may not think that you have things to be as creative as you want, but sometimes you just got to stop and think about what you have and creatively use what you have. And I think Dan mentioned that a little bit when he says, hey, just call up some of your customers and talk to them and see how you might be able to be of help to them. You have what you need in front of you. You just got to be creative as to how you use it. And I just wish everybody a great day, and thank you for participating.
All right. Well, thank you all for being a part of BizHack Live. Next week, we're going to talk about Can You Hear Me? How to find your customers online with Yvette Grove. After that, we're going to talk about exponential marketing with EXO, then in partnership with Emerge Americas. I'm going to talk about finding your ideal customer online, a brand new presentation that I've never given to BizHack before. So I think you'll really love that. And with that, I just want to say thank you all for coming today. Thank you for being amazing BizHack alumni and BizHack Live supporters. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll send a follow-up email, by the way, with contact information for the various panelists and some of the great resources that we shared in the chat. You can say goodbye, Grant.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Really
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lilia, as always.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, appreciate it.
See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.